Welcome to Yup's Money Life Show. Thank you for your interest and your support. Today, I'm going to warn you about the well-disguised scams. Okay? A few days ago, a client of mine told me, "Hey Yup, in episode 1 about online money show that you have, you say that educated people will fall for this money scam, money games, things like that. I don't think so. Because the scam is so obvious." Okay, I would actually agree with him. The rest, I'm going to share with you about how our conversation go. Okay, now you see, in obvious scam, you can see the return is super high. Okay, the return could be 20% per month or 30% per month. So it may end up 200 or 300% return per year. Plus also the distribution, the one who come to sell you the scam could be your relative, could be your friends who are not regulated professional. So it's pretty obvious it's a scam. Okay, but how about those well-disguised scam? Okay, will you be able to avoid it? Because why? In the case of well-disguised scam, the return could be very reasonable. It could be only like 1% per month, and 1 year is only 12%. So it may look like quite a legitimate investment, number one. Number two is that the person who comes to sell you this well-disguised scam, they could be a regulated person. This person could be your insurance agent, could be your insurance unit trust agent. So you may think that this is quite a legitimate investment to invest into. So the question now is, can you avoid a well-disguised scam? You see, this kind of investment is considered a scam because those investments are actually high-risk investment, but they disguise themselves to be a low-risk investment by giving you fixed and also reasonable return. Okay? Now, one example that I can give it to you is a crude oil investment, which has been introduced maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. This crude oil investment promised to give you 1% return per month and 12% return a year. And then the whole investment, the operators involved are those big oil, big petroleum company names that you also know. So you will feel very safe. Plus also, the person who comes to sell you this crude oil investment scheme could be your insurance agent or your unit trust agent. So the whole scheme looks pretty safe and pretty solid. However, what a lot of investors do not know is that the investment of performance of this investment is actually linked to the crude oil price. So what happened is that about 1 year or 1.5 years ago, when crude oil price dropped from 100 over US dollar to about 20 over US dollar, the company was able to pay the 1% return per month or 3% per quarter. Because when the underlying investment is tied to a very volatile investment, they will not be able to deliver the promise of giving you fixed return of 12% anymore. So this is an example of what I call a well-disguised scam, which may cause you to lose a lot of money. The second example that I have about this well-disguised scam is an investment which actually involve like investing into an investment account under a trustee company. You see, the whole scheme works like this. Basically, they ask you to open a trust account under a trustee company. So of course, when anything's got to do with trustee company, it gives you a very safe, a very solid, and very protected kind of actually impressions. But is that the case? No. Plus, this investment actually promised to give you 1.5% return per month, which is about 18% per year. Okay. What is interesting is that the trustee company here involved is also regulated by a reputable country's central bank. Okay. So that gives you a very strong impression that this is a pretty safe investment. Okay. But what a lot of investors may not know is that they will take this money and invest into foreign exchange currency and also private equities. Private equities meaning invest into the shares of the company which is aiming to go for listing, but they are not listed yet. So those investment could be a very high risk investment. So here you can see another example whereby what I mean by a well-disguised scam, whereby by nature it is actually a high risk investment, okay, but it is been disguised in such a way that it gives you the impression that it is actually low risk investment by giving you a fixed and reasonable return. So in my next episode, episode 6, I will share with the viewers how to avoid a well-disguised scams. Hey there, if you like my video, please remember to subscribe to my channel.